Hey guys, Lady Liberty Stacker here. What you're looking at is a vintage skillet that I picked up at a all-town garage sale that I went to with a friend about 3 weeks ago. Got two of these skillets for $5 each. As you can see, they're covered with rust, dust, dirt, hairs, you name it. This one is a large skillet, a number 10 that I could see in the back. It's an unmarked with a continuous heat ring. It appears to be a BS&R. Birmingham Stove and Range. You can see the definitive handle here, which is a trademark of them, and the large font on the size of the skillet. I also picked up another unmarked skillet here. It looks to be a number 8. I can see the top half of the 8 under all the crud. The pour spouts aren't as marked as a Griswold or a BS&R, but it looks to be a Wagner filled with crud. And I've had both skillets soaking in my lye bath now for about 3 weeks. And if 3 weeks won't take off the crud, like I tried last Christmas, I had a couple videos up showing you removing the crud. You need a self-cleaning oven to get this stuff off. It's over 500 degrees in there and it will bake it off. So follow me as I restore these skillets, and here we go. Hey guys, Lady Liberty Stacker here. It is Friday, July 6th. And I've had these skillets soaking in this lye bath in the garage here. That's what it kind of looks like. It's an excess of 10-gallon container, and I had put this together last summer, so it's approaching a year old, and you can actually use these for a year, sometimes longer, and they're still as effective. I've had 2 skillets in here. One is a number 10 unmarked BS&R, which is Birmingham Stove and Range. The larger skillets in good shape are highly sought after that are vintage. The other skillet is an unmarked, and I'm not sure what it is, but it still has crud on it. And if it's been in here for 3 weeks, you know what? The crud that's on it's not going to come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pause the camera here, and well, you know what, I'm going to pause the camera, put on another glove, and come right back. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've got in here. This, for starters, is a number 8 that I can now see, and a lot of the crud has come off, but it's still on there pretty good. And here is the back, and sometimes this is just not going to come off. So what I'm going to do with this one is put it in a self-clean oven. Today it's about 70 to 75 degrees. We had a cool front come through the area. It'd been like 90s up to 100. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in a self-clean oven. I'm not sure what it is. Could be a Wagner. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to have to do my research on it. I'm going to go ahead and put it aside for now. And the other one, whoops, go ahead and, okay. The other one I've had in here too, and it looks like, I don't know if that's burn marks from being in a fire. We'll see how well it holds seasoning. I picked both of these up for like $5 each at a flea market, but it is an unmarked Birmingham Stove and Range. I can tell by the continuous heat ring, by the handle, you can see the handle there, and by the font, which is looks like 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And on the inside, it's got some rust, but I can get that off, you know, by scrubbing in a wire wheel if necessary. So that's going to go back in now because I don't have time to deal with it. But this one is going to come out. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in my, there we go. Going to move my glove. Going to put it in my little carry drip pan. This is actually for $1 at dollar store. It's an auto oil drip pan, so I use it for my cast iron. So anyway, here this is. Going to go ahead and put it in there so I can carry it in and not get it all over. So anyway, I will be back and show you this. Okay guys, I am back. What I did was I took these guys out of the lye bath, and you can see this one has some rust in it. I'm going to soak the inside of the pan with vinegar and maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm going to soak the inside of the pan with vinegar and see what happens just to get rid of this rust. That's the cheapest way to do it. Another way you can get rid of rust in cast iron is a product called Evapo Rust. You can get it in a pint, you can get it in a gallon or multiple gallon container, but it is very pricey. So you hate to resort to that. You know, you try to do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to soak this. There's really no need to put it in a self-clean oven. You still have some, I'll go ahead and try to, I rinsed this all off. And this is real heavy, so, but you can see on the back, there is some, I'm not sure if that's burn mark or what, it might be. But we'll see how well it holds seasoning. I'm not sure, maybe if I should just go ahead and put this in the self-clean oven, but it doesn't have a lot of crud that needs to come off. It's generally in pretty good shape, so and maybe I'll just take a little wire wheel to that and see what happens. I know some people say no, but you know, doesn't hurt if you want to get it to have seasoning stick. This one here, after 3 weeks in the lye bath soak, you can see all the crud on it. I have rinsed it off. Very important to rinse it off with gloves before you handle the pan currently. This one, I believe, is a Wagner, from what I can tell. Wagner, post 1960, because it has Made in USA on it. And it's got number 4, looks like, skillet. It's a number 8, though. Oh, wait a minute. That's inch. That says actually inch. Hard to tell. I still have that crud on there, but it is a number 8. So it looks like a Wagner ware from the font. And the handle is less definitive than a Griswold. But we're going to go ahead and put that in the self-clean oven. I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. Okay, I will be back. Okay, guys, I decided to go ahead and put both of these in the self-clean oven. I have the bottom rack lined with foil so it'll catch anything that may fall. I don't have room for more than one of these guys in the rack, but it's cool enough today where I can do it. But if we look at this might be a combination of a little bit of rust, which we'll just go ahead and scrub off and then re-season. But you can see here, this pan has been dried and it has some stuff, old seasoning has not come off. And if we look on the interior, got to be real careful. And on the sides here, it's got old seasoning that hasn't come off. So you could soak it forever in a lye bath, and if it's really cruddy, it just won't come off. So I'm just going to roll it over real gently so I don't damage my cooktop. And that actually looks worse in the video than it actually does in real life, but we'll see what happens. This one here has this crud that the lye bath will not remove, so it needs to go in the self-clean oven. And you can see here where it has it. So we're going to go ahead and put it in. And we'll go ahead and put the dirtiest one on the bottom here. Oops. Put it on that rack. And then we're going to put this one on the top rack. And these guys are heavy, but they're still, vintage stuff is never as heavy as the Lodge they make today. So there we have it. We have both of them. I'm going to try to spread it out a little bit more. And this one, they'll have the crud fall off, but I have foil on the shelf. So we're going to go ahead and set the clean cycle. And we'll put it in for maybe 2.5 hours. And it locks it when it heats up. And it's going to lock. And I want to show you guys when I take them out what they look like. Okay guys, I'm back. Just want to let this self-oven cleaning cycle is all done, and it takes a couple of hours for everything to cool down. So let's see how these guys did. Okay, here is the Birmingham stove and range. It looks like it got a lot of the crud off that was on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and still some rust in there, so we're going to have to scrub it pretty good. I'm going to use a Brillo pad that comes with soap, and then I may take a wire wheel to it if I can't get the rust off. But it got anything that was baked on the outside off. Just have to deal with the rust as is the issue. So here's that one. And then the other one was the one with all the crud baked on. Let's get that out. And here it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, take it over to the sink. And I'm going to go ahead and put down the camera so we can see. All right. And here it is. And it's still a little warm, but I'm going to go ahead and just brush this stuff off. Look at that. Look how it just comes right off. And you have some on the inside. It's very smooth. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take a Brillo pad, and I'm going to go ahead and wash it down with a little bit of soap first. I'll use Dawn mild dish detergent, and then I'll go ahead and try to get this rust off, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, here is, they are stripped down to basically the gunmetal gray, and there's a little extra rust or something in here. I'm going to take a wire wheel brush to it to smooth it up a little bit. It will not be removing the metal off of here, just the extra rust or whatnot. And then the back, still have this area, but hopefully it'll be okay. It is better than what it was. You can clearly see the font here. This is a Birmingham stove and range with a continuous heat ring. The font that they are known for, and the handle they are known for. So that's what this one is. This one here, I'm thinking it's a Wagner. Again, there's a little bit of rust here, but very smooth. I'll get that with a wire wheel. It's an 8, a number 8. And if we can see here that it is a 10.5-inch skillet made in USA. So this is probably made sometime in the 1960s. This one was made in the early 1900s sometime. It was a little bit more crude. And then one thing on this that I noticed was it has a mark on the pour spout on either side. It looked a little bit crude, but I think that makes it neat. This is definitely getting into the antique category. This is definitely vintage. But we're just going to go ahead and clean it up with a wire wheel. And what I did on this is, like I said, to get it to this state, I used mild dish detergent with a Brillo pad. And just, made sure to clean it all up. And it actually almost looks like a Lodge, but it's not a, I don't think this is a Lodge, but it seems a little heavier. There's an 8. So anyway, you guys may have an idea. I'm going to do some research as well, but I will be back showing you what these look like before seasoning and after I take the wire wheel to it. All right, I'll be back. Okay, guys, what you're looking at is I decided to soak both pans in a vinegar soak, 50-50, 50% vinegar, 50% water, or 60% vinegar, 40% water. I'm using my kitchen sink because these skillets are so large. I usually have a container that I can do for them, but stainless steel is so easy to clean up. It's just easier to do it in here. Hubby's gone all day. As you can see, the carbon's still coming off and the rust is still coming off. And you need to monitor these occasionally when you do soak them like this. I have my gloves on now. I'm going to go ahead and try to get off any of the extra rust and carbon before I put it back in. I'm going to rinse it under the tap here, get it all off, put it back in the soak. And if you look at the water is a combination of that still carbon coming off. That was really, really soaked into the metal. And the trapped rust underneath. These were stubborn skillets. These were really stubborn. But it's a challenge, and I welcome a challenge. Now, I'm working on the bigger one here, the BSNR. And on the back, my main concern was the back. I know I can get the rust out. See, look at that. That, to me looks like possible fire damage, but I'm hoping it's rust. The only way to tell is if I keep soaking these in here longer. It may take all day long. Today is July 7th. And if you're going to restore cast iron, one must be patient. And sometimes you use a variety of methods to do this. So lye bath, self-clean oven, vinegar soak. Until I come back. I'm back, guys. It's Sunday, July 8, 2018, and these are what the skillets look like after they were taken out of the vinegar soak late last night, scrubbed out with a Brillo pad, and thoroughly dried. The one on the right, the BSNR, does have some rust that is stubborn and won't come off. I'm probably going to have to take a wire wheel to it to get it off. It just keeps developing flash rust. The one on the left is pretty good. It has some few lints and a little bit leftovers from the cleaning of it out. So I'm probably going to have to do another once over with a wet damp towel and then dry it off with a dry towel, and just to make sure it's all lint free and good to go before I season it. And again, this one on the right, that rust is going to have to come out, and either a Brillo pad, but I think I'm going to have to do a wire wheel to this. But the back looks fantastic. There's no fire damage the way I had suspected there would be, and I'm relieved about that because fire damage will not hold seasoning. Rust and pitting will, and seasoning over time does fill in, so it becomes smoother and smoother as you cook with it. So the next day is today, July 9th. That's what these guys look like. After I took a wire wheel to the one on the left, the one on the right was just cleaned out with a damp paper towel and dried with a fresh paper towel. So it's all ready to be seasoned. It is the unmarked Wagner. No rust left over on it at all. It is good to go. The one on the left here, the BSNR, had the flash rust, and the only way you could get rid of it was to smooth it out with a wire wheel brush. I used a 2-inch gray wire wheel brush with my drill, and I smoothed out all the pitting and the uneven surfaces, and it is fairly smooth right now, much smoother than a Lodge cookware. And for collectability, I mean, it's not the perfect skillet, but it's number 10, and anything 10 and up is very, very rare. It's hard to find this stuff. And if I can restore a piece of Americana that was probably made in the early 1900s, somebody will be grateful to cook on it. So I will show you what it looks like after the first round of seasoning until I come back with that.
Good morning, Lady Liberty Stacker here. It is Tuesday, July 10th, 2018. And yes, you are looking at the skillets after one round of seasoning. And I think they came out pretty daggone good. This back, that's a shadow from my knife block there. But this one came out pretty good. Let me go ahead and turn on the range light. Just try to get rid of that shadow. This one is the Birmingham Stove and Range unmarked. And that big splotch on the back is virtually undetectable. That's one round of seasoning. After 3 or 4, and then after it's been used for a while, you won't even notice it. And this is the unmarked. I believe this is a Wagner. It just has the shape. The handle looks like a Wagner. And especially here, the font, it says 10.5-inch skillet made in USA. You can now see that where you really couldn't see it before. And again, that's all the rust is gone on that. We're going to go ahead and turn it over so you can see the cooking surface. Very smooth. It tends to spin. It's the only thing. But I just proved that you can cook in a spinner on a glass top. So that is the number 8, the 10-inch. And this is the interior on the Birmingham. And it had some pitting, but, I mean, the seasoning will start to fill those in. And that is pretty smooth. And I think truly restored that. And again, I'm going to give these 3 more rounds of seasoning before I'm done. But just wanted to show you guys those. This video has been long enough, but a tutorial that shows you blended methods for restoring cast iron without the need for electrolysis. All right, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't for more interesting videos. Thanks a lot, guys. Go make it a great day.